This video is only possible thanks to viewers like you. To support the channel and get more, go to patreon.com/optimisticduelist and subscribe. Link in the description. So, the second part of Deltarune I wanted to talk about is Noelle. Dear, sweet, pure, precious, but most of all, dear Noelle. Noelle, who could be fairly described as an angel by any measure that doesn't include Undertale and Deltarune, where angels seem to be a real thing and also creepy as hell. Noelle, who I'm about to argue has a fairly good chance of ending up as one of our main characters, and potentially even as a playable party member. Of course, that's assuming that Deltarune will have more party members than the initial 3, but personally, I think that's pretty likely. Noelle seems unusually important for a secondary character, almost like she's primed to play a more relevant role later. She's a childhood friend of Chris, and she seems more aware that there's something wrong with them than any other character. She's a direct victim of their occasional bouts of malice in the form of pranks. Yet she still treats Chris in a fairly friendly way, apparently regularly helping them with their schoolwork. And of course, there's her adorable crush on Susie. And I'm just gonna go ahead and call it now. This ship's gonna fly. This is canon. There's too many ways that Susie and Noelle complement each other for it to be a coincidence. They're basically set up as the Undyne and Alphys equivalents in this universe, except that where Undertale's premier couple complemented each other by way of a jock girl, nerd girl dynamic, the complementary motif here seems to be good girl, bad girl. And I gotta be honest, I really dig that. You can already see ways that the two girls would be really good for each other. Now that her adventure in the Dark World has left Susie a little more inclined to reach out to people instead of lashing out, and apply herself to things like puzzles and hopefully schoolwork a little more, she would really benefit from having a studious, nurturing friend like Noelle, and Noelle's already fantasizing about being a positive influence on her, so the interest is there. Though she is too shy to actually talk to her, which is one area where Susie's brash and outspoken attitude could have a positive effect on her. Susie's also pretty protective of the people she cares about, and pretty effective at protecting them, which is something that Noelle's dad, Rudolph, seems to think she needs, as he worries about how, to him, Noelle seems afraid of everything and defenseless as a result. She's certainly dealing with a lot that she keeps to herself out of fear. Her crush on Susie, her dislike of the bird guy Mordecai, her dad's illness, which may or may not be serious, but has apparently been keeping him in the hospital for a while, and her mom's apparent aloofness or outright neglect in the face of it. Noelle's going through a lot right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts getting to her. Which is really the biggest reason she makes a good Dark World candidate. Last time we explored how the Dark World seems to be a dream world of sorts, a wonderland where characters are tested and led through overcoming their emotional hang-ups and personal issues. This process is pretty much completed with Susie though, and Chris and Rouse don't really have inherent character conflicts to be resolved. Or at least, not ones that a fun trek through a fantasy wonderland is gonna solve. So Noelle genuinely feels like the character with the most clear-cut character arc going into Chapter 2. But even if it doesn't work out that way, even if she never ends up joining the main cast per se, I still think Noelle's gonna be incredibly important just by virtue of being Susie's main love interest, and how important Susie is not just to Deltarune, but to the wider story that connects Deltarune and Undertale. And Susie's importance here really can't be stressed enough. Not long before Deltarune came out, an updated version of Undertale landed on the Nintendo Switch. One of the most interesting things added in this update was what seems to be a new Gaster follower, a clam girl who tells Frisk about their neighbor's daughter, Susie. The spelling is subtly different, which is weird, but I'm sure it'll turn out there's a reason for that. The clam girl outright said that the day that we would meet this Susie was fast approaching, and that obviously seems to have come to pass with the release of Deltarune. But she also tells Frisk that in the grand scheme of things, Susie might be the reason why Frisk came to the underground in the first place. We don't know how, but Susie's apparently important to the underlying mythology of these games in a way that really only rivals Kara and Gaster. So, while we don't know what's going on exactly, needless to say, I'm excited as hell to find out. And I do have some guesses. Join me next time so we can talk about Sans, Gaster, Kara, Homestuck, and my guess as to how the worlds of Undertale and Deltarune might be intertwined. Until then, keep rising. Huge thanks go out to my patrons for making this video possible. If you want to help support the channel and come join us at our awesome and growing Discord community, feel free to join us for as little as $1 a month. You can also find me on the r/Hiveswap Reddit and Discord. That's all for now, so thank you again, and as always, keep rising, and hey, thanks.